how are we? I apologize for my tardiness. It's quite the newsy day, and I was with the president talking about that news, so...
At the age of 27, Karoline Leavitt became the youngest White House press secretary in American history. Her innovative job started immediately upon the inauguration of President Trump in January 2025. Her life took a dramatic turn when she agreed to marry real estate magnate Nicholas Riccio. No one was expecting Karoline Leavitt to make such a shocking statement about her spouse all of a sudden. You should probably hold on to the idea that you know where this is heading if you have one, because by the time we reach the conclusion, you will be either astounded, impressed, or left with many questions. All right, we'll leave. During her inaugural news briefing at the White House, Karoline Leavitt did more than stand and read from a script. She delivered a message. Not only was it 47 minutes long, but the tone, intensity, and the way she commanded the room as if it were second nature were equally impressive. Plus, everyone knows that press secretaries aren't usually the center of attention, but this one certainly was. She arrived prepared and spent no time demonstrating that she was going to cause a major upheaval. To begin with, she is no longer limited to working with conventional journalists. Instead, Leavitt is teaming up with podcasters and social media influencers, who collectively reach millions of individuals beyond the traditional news industry. This is a radical shift in strategy, not a minor adjustment. Following the most startling episode in recent political history, the attempted assassination of President Trump at his rally on July 13, 2024, if there was ever a time when her commitment to her position could be demonstrated, it was immediately following this. This was unexpected by everyone. Everything we thought we knew about Karoline Leavitt's marriage has been shattered by her recent stunning reveal. News is trending, and sources close to the situation are spilling the beans on even more alarming revelations. Keep an eye out, because this is going to be far greater than everyone thought. You do know that it's normal to need some downtime after giving birth to regroup, get back to normal, and relax, right? Unlike Leavitt. Seeing what happened to Trump caused her to make a split-second choice, even though she had recently given birth. She elaborated on her stance later on by stating, "The president truly put his life on the line to win this election. Regardless of your opinion of her views, you cannot deny the rarity of such a dedication. All I can do is return to work as soon as possible." And what did the general population think? To put it mildly, everybody took note. Stephen Chung, Director of Communications for the White House, was forthright. He boldly claimed that her maiden press conference was the most successful ever, especially when one considers the number of heavyweights who have served in that capacity before her. However, guess what? She performed admirably, particularly when confronted with veteran journalists like NBC's Peter Alexander, who, let's be honest, is notorious for asking pointed questions. Never losing her composure or standing steady, Leavitt made it plain that she wasn't in it for the win. Furthermore, allow me to briefly discuss the distinction. In her final briefing before Leavitt took over, Karine Jean-Pierre spoke movingly about the privilege of being at the podium. Thinking about the job, arguing with reporters, and representing the president's views were all things she pondered. Leaving in style, without a question. Things seem different now that Leavitt is in charge. People may sense a change occurring. Regarding Trump, Leavitt is obviously his only target. Being her national press secretary during the campaign gave him a glimpse of her abilities, and he has praised her work as phenomenal. He doesn't mince words when he praises someone. In addition to keeping supporters involved, he has faith in her to manage the media and convey the goals of his government. Then what can we do? It has been made plain by Leavitt that daily briefings are not being promised. Although she did promise the press corps that they would hear from the president and her as much as possible, her initial briefing gave no hint that these appearances would be dull. You know how sometimes things pop up out of nowhere in life? That was precisely the case at their initial meeting, Karoline Leavitt and Nicholas Riccio. It was a political gathering, so naturally there were all the typical aspirational types there, shaking hands and forging connections. It might have been any old networking event, but destiny, or more specifically a mutual buddy, had other ideas. The two of them hadn't seen anything yet, but their buddy spotted something, a connection, a spark, and something worth investigating. What began as an innocent encounter quickly blossomed into a romance that would generate quite a stir. Not because they weren't compatible, but due to the 32-year age gap between them. But come on, when was the last time love had a manual? If you looked at them together, you may believe they were too dissimilar to work. Are you Nicholas? Complete loner. This guy is the epitome of introversion. He doesn't use social media and cherishes his solitude. That is really unprecedented in our modern day, isn't it? Yet Karoline is the polar opposite. She has cultivated a profession that literally necessitates continual interaction, is extroverted, and lives in the spotlight. They succeeded in connecting despite their obvious disparities. Yes, it is true that opposites attract. On her own social media, Karoline made light of the situation by comparing Nicholas's reserved personality to her own dynamic and outgoing profession. But it is precisely their strength. He is the rock that keeps her grounded, while she is all about participating with the world. Their relationship goes beyond merely balancing each other out. They have many interests, particularly in business and politics. In a nutshell, they are the two things that support their connection. Longtime member of such circles, Nicholas has had some remarkable meetings, such as the 2005 one-on-one conversation about baseball he had with former President George W. Bush. That wasn't an ordinary occurrence for Nicholas. It was a watershed event that demonstrated his profound involvement in business and politics. Their friendship was further cemented when he met Karoline. They both had a deep love for politics and business. Naturally, concerns over the age difference were voiced. Of all things, 32 years is a large number. The question is, does age really matter when two individuals have a true connection? Karoline wasn't a political novice clinging to experience, and Nicholas wasn't some grizzled old guy attempting to shape a younger lady. They were each successful in their own right and appreciated one another's contributions. Karoline was forging her own way in politics, while Nicholas had already established his realty empire. In addition to being romantically involved, they became a powerful pair by combining their strengths in business, politics, and personal support. Karoline has made it quite apparent that Nicholas is her #1 cheerleader. Even though he doesn't necessarily want attention, he's always at her side, cheering her on. Do you know the sensation of having someone's unwavering belief in you propel you to achieve your goals at a faster pace? That is the type of encouragement Nicholas offers Karoline. Even while she understands and respects his need for space, she never takes his presence for granted. In the context of political and corporate influence, what does the latest disclosure from Karoline Leavitt imply? A tempest has broken out over her massive statement about her husband and Nicholas Riccio's economic empire, and many are delving into the meaning behind it. Is this the moment when her career takes a dramatic turn? Embrace the ride till the terrible truth is revealed. Nicholas Riccio's rise to real estate success from modest origins is more than simply an inspiring tale. It is a demonstration of the importance of perseverance, determination, and the ability to perceive opportunities where others perceive challenges. He became an adult at the tender age of 18, facing an unknown future, and then he was unexpectedly left without a house. The majority of individuals would have been utterly terrified and unable to respond. In contrast to him, though, from that pitiful juncture, he fashioned an extraordinary corporate empire. When he decided to focus on real estate in the early 2000s, particularly in Hampton Beach, New Hampshire, he finally broke through. Just give it some thought. A young man who had no savings, no security net, and no inheritance opted to invest in real estate. Makes no sense, does it? Nevertheless, Riccio possessed a quality that could not be purchased with money: vision. For some reason, he was able to see promise when others saw nothing. Opportunities were there for the taking, even though some considered troubled communities as hopeless cases. He got into the habit of purchasing dilapidated homes, restoring them, and selling them at a profit. His significant portfolio included 15 structures with 70 rental flats by 2005. That's remarkable growth in such a short period of time. It's more than just success. It wasn't the end of it. Riccio Enterprises LLC, his business, continued to grow and eventually covered all of New England. His crew turned rundown houses into posh communities all across the White Mountains and Boston. How will it work? Understated, but impactful. He skipped the expensive, showy assets and went straight for the rundown properties that had unrealized potential. He saw value in the overlooked details that others had overlooked. In the cutthroat real estate industry, that's how he became known. Not only was Riccio successful in business, but he also learned valuable life lessons along the way, which is what really makes his story interesting. Instead of reading about adversity, he experienced it himself. He has experienced life in survival mode, depending on others for even the most basic necessities like a shower. When you're up against it, you'll either crumble or rise. It accomplished the latter for Riccio. In 1990, after finishing a real estate course and getting his degree from Plymouth State University, he devised a straightforward strategy for developing land, and he adhered to it. It becomes more intriguing from here since Riccio's influence extends beyond the property market. Important political gatherings, such as those for Women for Trump, have taken place on his estates. One thing is certain, regardless of one's opinion of his political beliefs, he isn't in it for the money. He's all about making an impact and contributing to bigger discussions through his achievements. He is unique among real estate investors because of that. He went from having little money to building a multi-million-dollar enterprise, proving that your starting point has nothing to do with your success. It's about your willingness to perceive possibilities where others see obstacles. What else does a real entrepreneur need to do if that? Love stories like the one between Karoline Leavitt and Nicholas Riccio may creep up on you like a familiar, comforting sensation that you can't quite put your finger on but know is unique. Contrary to the prevalence of many contemporary love stories, it was understated, and underappreciated. No, things were different between them. It had a hidden purpose, was deliberate, and rested on a foundation that went beyond mere popular approval. However, isn't that the most ideal kind of love? The sort that spreads naturally, unobserved by humans? Karoline and Nicholas experienced just that. Their paths crossed at a political event through common acquaintances, and they quickly became involved in a relationship that neither of them hastened, but which they both sensed was genuine. Anyone who knows Karoline at all knows that she isn't afraid to be the center of attention. Being used to the limelight, she is gregarious and she has a sizable online following. Are you Nicholas? Quite the contrary. That's because he's shy. Absolutely no social media influence. Keep out of the spotlight. Just an ordinary man who likes to keep things simple and respects his privacy. Still, it produced the desired result. Perhaps it's the power of opposites attracting. Or perhaps it's just because they ultimately shared something more meaningful. Common beliefs, profound respect, and an authentic bond that didn't require external validation. For a long time, they kept their connection a secret from everyone. There will be no mysterious Instagram posts or paparazzi snooping on their date evenings, just the two of them, enjoying life to the fullest. Of all, a secret love like that can't last forever. They made the decision to let the world in on their joy towards the end of 2023. Announcing the engagement is the perfect way to accomplish it. This was no ordinary engagement, though. Nicholas took great care to ensure that it would be an experience they would never forget. Warmth, love, and thankfulness pervaded the air on this Christmas Day in 2023. Nicholas added to its enchantment. He asked Karoline to be his wife in a quiet, private situation, exactly as he preferred. A man proposed to the lady he loved in a small, intimate ceremony with no grandstands or onlookers. Unsurprisingly, her answer was yes. Karoline finally broke her silence the next day, on December 26th. With Nicholas down on one knee and a dazzling diamond ring in the background, she posted a picture on Instagram with the message, "The best Christmas of my life," which perfectly expressed the emotion she was experiencing. "I am about to tie the knot with my ideal spouse. My heart is overflowing with gratitude. Thanks be to God." After that, the wedding preparations got on. However, you would be foolish in thinking that they would pull off a spectacular, lavish celebration. Their wedding was a reflection of their romance, much like everything else. What they really desired was an intimate, meaningful, and private experience. So, in a lovely little ceremony in 2024, they exchanged vows. Even though everyone would have wanted to witness every last detail, Nicholas insisted that they kept their private times private. Karoline paid homage to that since she always respects the man she loves. She refrained from post-wedding picture montage or elaborate captions on Instagram. Instead, she changed her bio to only say, "wife." That was the only word that needed to be changed. Their love story continued after they were married and became much more powerful. And before long, their small family grew. They were blessed with the arrival of a healthy baby boy, Nicholas Robert, whom they affectionately called Nico. This new chapter brought them even more joy, excitement, and love. Karoline, who had never been bashful about her feelings for her husband, suddenly had a second love to hold dear. Where does Nicholas rank? Just like the shy, loyal, and encouraging guy who had won Karoline's heart, he persisted in being that. Karoline Leavitt finally addressed months of rumors by making a major disclosure regarding her spouse. "We have every detail of the shocking behind-the-scenes situation that has even startled insiders. Just hang on for the ride, because this discovery is going to blow everyone's minds." The Riccios and Leavitts are living proof that it's not only conceivable, but an art form, to balance a demanding profession with a newborn. Karoline goes from holding newborn Nico in her arms to calmly answering press questions at the White House podium, an accomplishment that can be attributed only to her unwavering commitment. Additionally, we must not overlook Nicholas, who deftly transitions between running his own business and being an involved father. Is it their entire life? An inferno of obligations, meticulously orchestrated timetables, and an unbreakable alliance that propels everything forward. But let us take a step back, because their narrative is about so much more than balance. It's about unfaltering belief in one another, sacrifice, and unrelenting dedication. By returning to work only 4 days after giving birth, Karoline demonstrated an unwavering commitment that few new moms would even consider. Only 4 days. What would it be like? She was returning to the political arena at a time when most mothers are still adapting to life without sleep. This type of timetable, though, isn't for the wimps. Their day-to-day routine exemplifies impeccable time management skills. Every morning starts with press briefings and getting ready, and then there are carefully planned shifts for baby Nico's care. Maybe in the evenings? Family time is sacred. Karoline manages to be there for her career and her kid by scheduling work-from-home moments in between everything else. We'll simply say it isn't always simple, but the dance is delicate. "It does break your heart to leave the baby every day to go to work," she said. Without Nicholas, obviously, this whole thing would fall through. Equally important to this cooperation is his function. He is able to adjust his schedule to accommodate the changing demands of his family, because he is the owner of Riccio Enterprises, LLC. Because to his unwavering support, Karoline is able to give her all to her difficult career without having to interrupt her day to tend to baby Nico. They have managed to thrive in the face of the relentless demands of their professions. While Karoline attends to White House matters, Nicholas has no qualms about loading up the car and driving to Bedminster, New Jersey, so the whole family can be there. Going the additional mile, figuratively, is one of those small actions that may have a big impact. Because in the end, it's not about plans and strategies, but about love, dedication, and a common goal for the future they're creating as a couple. Every sacrifice Karoline is making today is not in vain. Winning this election is her greater cause, she declared. Making her kid proud is her #1 priority, even above politics, press conferences, and public appearances. My hope is that Nico will be proud of his mom when he hears about everything I did while he was in my womb and shortly after birth. And let's be honest, whose kid wouldn't be? Karoline and Nicholas have instilled in their son Nico an unwavering work ethic, a strong work ethic, and a love for life. Their narrative is about more than simply finding a work-life balance. It's about pushing the boundaries of what is possible. Having a successful profession and still being present for your family is possible with the correct mentality and the correct partner. Karoline and Nicholas are demonstrating that love and dedication can triumph against the harsh scrutiny of public life, one meticulously prepared day at a time. Now this video has come to a close. Enjoyed your viewing? Please hit the like, comment, and subscribe button if you found this video entertaining. Click the video that appears on your screen to see more exciting tales.